Hi art nerds, I am back today with a review and demo of the Sakura Koi watercolor set. This is the 24 set. It's half pans, it's a little convenient travel palette, and I'm here and reviewing it for you. So you're seeing all the pretty swatches. These next couple of reds all look exactly the same in person too. It's not just your computer screen, it's not a trick. I bought these for $12, which was awesome. They're normally around $25, sometimes $30, depending on if they're on sale or where you see them. I know they're on Amazon for about that, and I would not hesitate to pick these up if you saw them for $12. I would not pay $25 for them. I would have actually been very upset with myself if I paid the $25 for these. And I'm going to tell you why. So as far as pros go, it is really cheap. And they're super vibrant. But they're only vibrant by themselves. That's it. I'm basically done with the pros. Are you good? Are you ready for this? So I'm doing this picture of some mermaids, and their like butts, tails, basically are koi fish, because I'm original. These watercolors get muddy fast. You might be able to tell already. They get muddy very, very quickly. The kind of style that I've been doing lately has been put lots of water down, throw some color on it, and then let it kind of spread and mix and get pretty together. And that's just like the style that I've been using lately. This is not the paint for that style. It's just not. Even when I wasn't trying to do that and making it crazy blotchy, I just didn't find it to be, it doesn't cover well. It doesn't do anything well. It doesn't layer well, it doesn't glaze well. The colors themselves don't mix very well. It doesn't spread or move around the paper the way that I would like my watercolors to do. It gets very splotchy very fast, and I actually wound up redoing this piece with different watercolors for a kind of side-by-side comparison after the fact, because I still really liked this idea and I really hated how this turned out. You might be able to see why. I did, however, do a lot more detail on the other piece. You're gonna see it obviously, so you'll know exactly what I mean. I did not put my whole heart and effort into this. Pretty much as soon as I started using them, I was like, oh shit, these are not very good. They're not terrible, but if you were looking at the $25 price range, you could get Winsor and Newton paints. And I used those for years, and I find them to be like 80% better than these. Like, in terms of price and convenience, okay, so this palette, it comes with like a little ring thing on the bottom, and it comes with like a plastic water brush that you can fill, like a travel size one, and it has like 5 pans that are movable and all of this. Like, yeah, that's convenient. It's good for traveling, but it doesn't really matter if your paints are good for traveling if your paints look like crap. So that's how I feel about that. I'm not going to show you the finished travesty until the end of the video, but these go down chalky and they're shiny, and like when you turn the page you can kind of see where they just deposited binders. Like, it's not even color, it's binders. So the watercolor piece that I'm doing now is my comparison one, and I'm using Mijello watercolors. I have a separate review and demo of them. I got them for my birthday on the channel if you'd like to check those out. But I I wanted to just redo the piece because I like the idea. But I also wanted to redo the piece to kind of illustrate the point of being able to layer well on top of the watercolors in this specific scene in this instance. Now, I definitely spent about an hour longer on this second illustration. I added a lot more detail to the background. I changed the faces a little bit, and I took clues from things that I didn't like about the first drawing to change this. But I think a lot of my opinions about how the watercolors handle still stand, even though I did change these quite a bit. Like change the composition a bit. That being said, I mean, it's all up to you. You're the one seeing the results, and I have a sort of wobbly style at the moment, so it's not like, you're critiquing how terrible my art is. you can just see like how you feel about the paint and how it mixes and how it layers on top of each other. As far as the koi watercolors are concerned, I do think that they are meant for hobbyists. I don't think that they would qualify as student grade by any stretch of the imagination. You have no idea how many pigments are in each color. They don't have names. There's no charts that come with this set. You really have no idea what you're painting with. I can tell you that just from doing my swatch sheets, it left divots in the paint pans. Like, they are half pans, and it left sizable divots. 2 of them actually cracked. I have watercolors, Winsor & Newton watercolors, that I've used for 4 years, maybe more, that have only just started to like have indents in them from my use. I had dents in these paints after swatching on like 3 different sheets of paper. Even more so after doing a full size, like this is a 12 by, or maybe it's like an 8 by 10 something sort of size sheet. I mean, it's big, but the binders in those paints are friggin' amazing. I say with complete sarcasm. It's just, I really question how much paint is actually in that palette, because it just doesn't seem to last. I feel like if I were using that palette every day, I would probably kill it in 2 or 3 months, maybe less. Like if I were honestly using it every single day and using it for bigger pieces like this, not like a 4x6 or something like that, I think that palette would be done. And whatever, I mean, like if you get it for $12, sure, fine. If you're getting it for a family member or like a young friend, cousin, etc., to try watercolor, absolutely. It's cheap, go for it. But at a $20 price range, you could get Winsor & Newton, you could get White Knights, you could get less colors but more quality through Amazon or Dick Blicks. I'm sure probably like Michael's or Hobby Lobby, though it would cost more money. But there are other options in this price range, and even though this is the convenient travel kind of set, like it's set up for that, I don't think that the convenience of having like a brush and all of these things set up for you, I don't think that outweighs the fact that the paints are crap. I mean, it's all up to you to judge. I know when I was younger and I first wanted to get into watercolor, I didn't have the koi set. I had like a generic, really terrible set of watercolors. But the thing that threw me off was that people could blend these colors and have this like seamless blending and glazing and just beautiful effects. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't do that. And yeah, part of that was skill and the fact that I was like 14 and had no idea how to paint things. Spoiler, I still don't know how to paint things. But I was working against terrible paint. And part of the problem was that the paints that I were using were such low quality that they didn't blend at all. Like that part wasn't my fault. That part was the paint. And I think that depending on the kind of style that the person you might be gifting these for is using, it might be discouraging. I feel like I would be discouraged if I were trying to use those. Like they're super vibrant in and of themselves. I think maybe if you were doing cell shading, if you were doing something where you line a particular part of the drawing and you're going to do one color on a t-shirt or one color on pants, and then maybe do just like sharp lines of shadow in one tone, then that would be fine because the vibrancy of those colors would stay true if you are not layering them on top of each other or trying to mix them. But as soon as you try to do something even a little bit more elaborate, they just kind of suck. I will say that the paints I'm using here are really expensive, so not a fair comparison. Like, you could buy one tube, one 7mm tube of these paints, like one 7ml tube, for the price of the entire koi watercolor set. Sometimes more. Like, some of these tubes are $20 a piece. Bearing in mind I did not pay for that. They were a gift, and also you can get sets of them for less money than that per tube. But point being, these are really nice, and they handle completely differently. I wanted to be able to have this comparison of what you could do with good paints, even if you're a beginner and you have no idea what you're doing, versus being a beginner with bad paints. So this is with the Mijello watercolor set. It's not perfect, but I would like you to just kind of have this comparison of blotchiness and how muddy things got on the koi set, which is on the left. I couldn't do anything with it, guys. Like, it was just bad. It was painful. Like, bearing in mind I'm working on a very similar illustration, there's only so much you can do. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think of them down below. If you have any tips or, I don't know, thoughts about it, leave comments, and I will see you all next time. Go make something.